My name is Dakisha Williams, your virtual COO, and we are live. And today we're going to actually talk about the top webinar platforms that the gurus are using. Just doing a sound check real quick. All right, so as you guys are joining in, let me know who you are and where you are joining me from. Again, if this is the first time that you are hearing the sound of my voice, my name is Dakisha Williams, and I am your virtual COO, aka the Webinar Queen. And today we're going to talk about the top webinar platforms. Now, I think I've done this particular broadcast or training before, but I want to do it again because I didn't like the sound quality. So I actually have my notes and I have my blue blockers. Like, I've been enjoying my blue blockers. Like, does anybody else use these things with the computers? Have y'all tried those? That is so hilarious. So this is how I work during the daytime because I spend so much time in front of the computer. All right, so enough about my modern day blue blockers. Thank you guys for joining so much. All right, so if you have any questions as we go through today's topic, please feel free to comment below. But we're going to spend a little bit of time, and I broke them down differently this time. Based on a live webinar platform and the automated webinar platform as well. Hopefully no one will call me. But so just to kind of recap really quickly, when I started out in this space about 7.5 years ago, I was not in a place where I could travel and be known as like a keynote speaker, right? Or a speaker that would travel and do maybe 3 or 4, speaking gigs per month. At that time when I started 7.5 years ago, my children were like, they were like 6 and 11 at that time. So they were really young. They were super young. And I just didn't feel comfortable leaving them at home. And the whole point of me leaving my district manager position was that so that I could be available to my kids. So it didn't make sense for me to turn around and start speaking across the country and leave the babies at home. So I tried to figure out a way where I can make money from home. And so hence webinars. And if you watch the video from yesterday, you'll see where I shared that I used to teach this every single day for 2 and 3 hours, and I would teach it to people that will come in from all walks of life, and they were looking to start an online business. And so we would walk through step by step by step by step of how to incorporate webinars in their business. And so one of the things that you see a lot is you see automated versus live webinars. And the difference is a live webinar is when the person is actually physically there giving you the content, right? A lot of times, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the automated aspect of webinars. My goal is to have 5 automated webinars, meaning 5 sales funnels in our business. Ultimately, by the end of 2019, right? So if I have 5 automated webinars or 5 sales sequences that are set up with webinars in them, and they're all generating, I don't know, $100,000, right? All automated. Would that not be fantastic? So with that being said, with today's topic, I decided to break up my suggestions. And for most part, I think I've used most of the platforms that I'm going to share with you. All right. So if you know someone that is looking to use webinars in their business, do me a favor, share this out, tag them below, and say, hey, this chick is online and she's talking about the top webinar platforms that you should be using in your business. Hey, E.R. Spalding. Listen, we need to connect, like seriously. I don't know what your schedule is like when I'm done, but we need to talk. Hi, Deanna. I hope I said it right. It's Deanna. How are you, lovely? Yes, all the way from Albania. So good. I'm glad you guys are hanging out. Okay, so look, let's get right to it. because I am about to probably blow your mind on some of these platforms that actually offer webinar tools. Let me make sure I silence the team over here, because I promise that I'm going to try to keep the video. I'm going to try to keep this video quick. All right. So really quickly, right? All right. So number one, GetResponse. Are you guys familiar with the tool GetResponse? GetResponse is actually known as an email marketing company. So they will send out your automated emails to people that get on your list, right? Did you know they actually have a live webinar platform? Hey, I think that's Lewis over there on Instagram. So did you guys know that GetResponse actually has a live webinar platform? And I believe you can share your screen, because those are most of the concerns that people have. Number one, they want to know, can I share my screen? Can I have a chat feature is another one as well. So GetResponse, I know you can share your screen on there. So that's a good one too. And it's very, very affordable if you are just starting out in the space of hosting webinars in your business. Yes. All right. Number two, in regards, and these are all live platforms. I'm going to talk about the live platforms first. Is that cool? So number two is GoToWebinar. This one is really popular too. And they all range anyone. Hey, Clark, long time no see. They all range from anywhere from $19 to $99 per month on a monthly basis. So number two is GoToWebinar. GoToWebinar is pretty reasonable. You can, awesome, thank you. You can actually share your screen on this one, and it has a chat feature as well. Now these are live platforms, so remember, if you are just joining in, you got to rewind or watch from the beginning, because we talked about the difference between a live and an automated broadcast system. And make sure if you're doing a webinar, make sure you're using a webinar platform. This is the reason why I'm conducting this training. All right. I'm serious about that, because people drive me crazy when they say, oh, I'm doing a webinar tonight, and I see them on Facebook Live. Like, that is not a webinar. All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to go off on a tangent. Hence, number three. We actually may spend a minute on this one. So number three is Zoom. Let me tell you, I swear Zoom is like everyone's best friend. And so let me tell you a little bit why everyone loves Zoom. Now, Zoom finally has a live webinar platform. So listen here. When I say webinar platform, you have to remember, if you've ever listened to any of my trainings, the reason why it is considered a webinar platform is because they have to register to get access to your information. When they register, that is building your list. So why would you want to consistently get on Facebook Live or IG to build your list if you don't have a call to action that's going to get people on your list? Help me understand this. I'm trying to help somebody under the sound of my voice. So she said it upsets me too. So when you are going live, and don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going live on Facebook and going live on IG. Let me break it down for you. When you do that, that is an attraction phase. That is an awareness phase. We go live on Facebook. We go live on Instagram so that people can know that we exist. And so for those of you all that are joining me on Instagram, you're going to have to catch the full version on YouTube, and the video will be available. So I love y'all. So I'm going to have to do a training on a 10-minute webinar. But anywho, all right. So listen, so let's keep this going. So people have to register in order to get on your webinar, right? They give their first name, last name, email address. I collect phone numbers. I don't know about you. I collect phone numbers, and I teach all my students to collect phone numbers. So there's a registration page. This is a webinar platform, and you type that below. Webinar platform has a registration page. So Zoom, and excuse me, everybody loves Zoom because it can stream to Facebook. So here's their thought process behind it. Lord, pray. So the thought process behind Zoom webinars and streaming to Facebook is, oh, I can get more exposure. But when you are really, truly doing a product launch and you are measuring, right? What gets measured gets managed, and you are truly measuring your product launch, how can you measure the effectiveness of a Facebook Live when you cannot quantify how many people actually were there and you don't know who was participating? Like, you don't know who was there. Holla if you hear me. So I knew that this was going to be a hot topic. So sorry, not sorry to all you Zoom users that stream to Facebook Live. I get it. Like, I get it. It's easy and it gives you exposure. But one of the things that we teach in our product launch is to debrief. And so in order to tweak it and make it better the next time that we launch, you're measuring how many people registered, right? You're measuring what was your show rate. Can you measure a show rate on Zoom? No. Anyway, so yeah, can you tell I got a little attitude about that? Yeah, I just got a little, just a small, but I'm just trying to help you guys really position your products, really truly own your launch, because a webinar is actually a mini launch. All right. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Luciana. So I'm just trying to help you. And this is the reason why I press my students to do a webinar, because when you do a webinar, if a person takes the time to actually fill out the information to hang out with you, there is some point of interest in what you do and the problem that you solve, okay? And if they spend 45 minutes to 90 minutes, then they clearly want to hear what it is that you have to say. And one of the things that I shared yesterday is, if they actually show up, do you realize that 40% of the people that show up to your webinar will become a prospective client? So how many of you can go live on Facebook and guarantee that 40% of the people that show up will become a prospective client? All right. So you have to understand that 40% of the people that show up to your webinar will become a prospective client. All right. So Zoom, yes, you can use Zoom as a webinar platform. I think it costs like $54 plus the $14, I believe. So there's an additional cost that goes along with it. Now, they also have an on-demand feature where someone can register and it'll appear as if you are live. So you want to put that, if you literally, like, I got a piece of paper right here, and these are my notes, right? So if you literally made like a T shape and you put the live platforms on one and you got your automated platforms on the other, put Zoom on the automated side as well, because they offer what's considered an on-demand webinar. There's a difference between an on-demand webinar and an automated webinar. All right. I should actually do a live on that, but I'll tell you real quick. So on-demand webinar, and I think I've done a YouTube video on that one too, but on-demand is, if I go to your website and I sign up right now, I get access to it right now. Like, I'm a Facebook stroller. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm an avid learner. Like, I'm always a student. So if I register for your webinar at 2 a.m., I don't want to wait until 7 p.m. to have access to your training. Like, if I register at 2 a.m., I want to watch it right now. So that's actually considered an on-demand webinar. Then you have the automated webinar where you've seen them where they run at, I don't know, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., right? You have like 5 times where you can kind of stay tuned and you can choose what time that you want to watch it. That's cool because it works for the user, for the end user. And again, whatever works for you and your business. So the last one on the live side, how many people still use YouTube Live or Google Hangouts? Holla if you hear me. Your girl still uses YouTube Live and Google Hangouts. Guess how much it costs? $0. Yes, Bill. And you can embed it behind a sales page or a webinar registration page. I apologize. That was the wrong terminology. You can embed the YouTube video and it can be unlisted. It does not have to be live, but you can embed it behind a webinar registration page. So the platform that I teach my students on, we actually teach them Google Hangouts. And the reason why we do that is because it's free. A lot of our students are aspiring like entrepreneurs, or they're in that 0 to 3 year. So we're trying to keep the monthly cost down, trying to keep those expenses down. I'm not trying to add on to your line items on your expense report. Okay. All right. Now, really quickly, let's move over and shift over to the automated side. We're going to move over to the automated side real quick. Okay. So just to kind of recap, GetResponse has a live webinar platform. GoToWebinar has a live webinar platform. Webinar Jam. I'm sorry. Webinar Jam is really, really popular. A lot of people use Webinar Jam. And I think that it ranges from $39 to $50 something. I know they have an annual plan, but they also have a monthly option that's available. So Webinar Jam is really, really huge. I see a lot of people using Webinar Jams. Now, there's a gazillion others, but I'm giving you the top platforms that have the functionalities that most people ask for. Okay, so let me see. So Webinar Jam has a chat feature. You can share your screen. Some people like to share the screen and still see like their face. When I'm doing a webinar, like I want you to be 100% tuned into my content. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about whether I have makeup on. Don't worry about whether my hair is done. Don't worry about whether I'm dressed up. No, I want to learn you. I am here to educate you. So when I do my webinars, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably live, but I'm sharing my screen and I want you to focus on the content. Like I want you to focus on what I'm telling you. Okay. So that being said, for me, it doesn't really matter whether or not I can share my screen and like see me too. Like, cause at the end of the day, like I don't want to stare at me for like 60 to 90 minutes while I'm talking to you. Okay. I want you to focus on what I'm teaching you, just like right now. And I don't have a slide, but anywho, and then y'all can see all my facial expressions too, what I'm teaching. All right. So let's go to the automated side real quick. Y'all ready? You got your T-shape? I got mine. All right. So EverWebinar, which is a sister company to Webinar Jam, like they merged a couple of years ago because they actually used to be 2 companies. And I remember I used to train on the EverWebinar platform and then Webinar Jam. So they actually merged together not too long ago, and they are sister companies. And so Webinar Jam is like the live version. EverWebinar is the automated version. So that's the one. I mean, let me tell y'all, these automated platforms can get so fancy that you can actually incorporate a live chat. So like the chat that's going on right now in the Facebook window, you can incorporate that into an automated webinar and it'll make you think that people are there. It'll actually populate names. I'm telling all the secrets, aren't I? I'm just saying. That's how sophisticated automated webinars. And they do that so that it can appear as if you are live. How cool is that, right? That's EverWebinar, sister company to who? Webinar Jam. All right, so the next one is EasyWebinar. This is my man, Casey Zeman. I've been following Casey Zeman for probably 4 or 5 years now. Casey Zeman created the EasyWebinar platform. I believe it's EasyWebinar platform. And so it is very similar to the EverWebinar platform, automated platform, where, oh, this one is super cool too, because there's a functionality that you can host a automated webinar, right? And so let's say that you log on at, like it's 10 minutes after the hour. Let's say that you log on 10 minutes after the hour. This platform will actually show you the webinar 10 minutes after the hour. So you actually literally missed the first 10 minutes. It does not pick up at the beginning of the webinar. Isn't that cool? Like, technology is so fantastic. Hey, Kaya, how are you? So I think Casey's does that, or Easy Ever Webinar does that. But I know one of the two, they can actually have that functionality. And that's the live, well, that's the automated version. So I told you earlier that Zoom has an on-demand feature. So it's like the automated version, but it's the on-demand version. And then what else did I tell you? So we use Webinar Ignition. Webinar Ignition is a WordPress base. It's free. Now, if you go buy it, it's going to cost you like $100. But our students use it. It works great with YouTube, YouTube Live, YouTube Hangout, whatever y'all want to call it. But again, I try to keep the cost down for my students. So those are 1, 2, 3 automated platforms. Any questions before I jump off? I try to keep these short, sweet, and to the point. So while I'm waiting to see if there are any questions, do me a favor. We are actually hosting a webinar challenge. So we're going to help you put together the content if you've never hosted a webinar before. And even if you've done a webinar, we're going to show you how to monetize the platform so you can truly make money. And if you did not see the video yesterday, I walked you through how we generated $71,000 from hosting webinars with one product. One product, and we are on our way to closing out the window and bringing in $100,000 with one program. One program will change your life if you let it. If you did not get a chance to watch the video from yesterday, I strongly urge you to go back and watch yesterday's video. Matter of fact, subscribe to my YouTube channel where it's all things webinars and product launches, because I believe that one product launch 4 times a year can generate $25,000 each launch for over $100,000 in your business. So do me a favor, join us at thewebinarchallenge.com. That's thewebinarchallenge.com. And we're going to help you to build your list, build a tribe, and make more money from the comfort of your home. My name is Zakisha Williams, your virtual COO. Be passionate, be purposeful, but more importantly, be profitable. I'll see y'all next time.